to Venturing with Harry. My project's about carnivorous plants. They are cool and beautiful, and they are plants that eat meat. They say they're actually carnivorous because they eat bugs. I think they're amazing because they evolved to eat meat. My dad and mom took me to a carnivorous plant expert to find out more about carnivorous plants. Peter, how do carnivorous plants catch bugs?
We would call a passive pitfall trap. Basically, an animal would get encouraged to walk up the little ladder over here. Usually it's a large insect of some kind. He'll go walking on, this is what we call the peristome. This is the mouth of the pitcher, and that's the actual trapping mechanism. Now, if you had to look at it under a microscope, they're tiny little hairs that face all the way into the pitcher always. So the minute you change direction, the plant resists you. So it really wants you to go in that direction. And there's a whole lot of nectar all around the side here, which is going to be really attractive to start moving in that direction. And the minute you get there, the insect will fall inside. Now, I encourage him to just come and put his finger in there and rub it inside the pitcher and pull it out again. Put your finger inside there against the mouth and then pull it out hard. You see the plant try to bite you. Okay, so now that's what happens to an insect who tries to get out of the passive pitfall trap. Inside there are little blades. It's almost like razor blades. And they will cut the insect, or they'll poke the insect, and he won't be able to get out of there. But what's going to happen secondarily to that, this plant here it gets a lot bigger than this. So what will happen is a little tree shrew will come along, and he'll take on position over here, and then underneath the lid, the plant produces a whole lot of nectar there. And he'll eat, yum, 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 yum. It produces a laxative, and he'll go to the toilet in the pitcher, and that also feeds the pitcher. But let's say it starts to rain. This now becomes super, super slippery. And while the little tree shrew is sitting over there, this becomes slippery, his feet slip inside and inside it, and he can't get out either. So the plants have actually got multiple trapping mechanisms. They're firstly trying to look for the insects, and then secondarily they're looking for whatever's going to try to get the insects out of the trap.
How long does a pitcher plant digest food?
Very, very quick. But because there's probably going to be a lot more inside there, so there'll be a variety of insects in there, there'll be quite a few, and sometimes larger things. So let's say a mouse gets in there, that will take probably about 7 to 8 days to digest it down to a little skeleton, and then probably another 6 months to get rid of the skeleton.
So the skeleton will go as well?
Everything will go. Everything will go. But the plant will smell terribly. So we've had a few rats get caught in here, but we have to remove them. It just smells too bad. But the plants grow huge and massively fast after that. They just really take a huge
steroids.
Yeah. But that is kind
What happens when it traps something?
But what the plants do is once the pitchers are full of prey, then they will deactivate the top of the pitcher. So you'll notice the one that's hanging over there. There's a half of the top pitcher. So if you look at the bottom of the pitcher, though, it's quite brown there. So the plant actually caught a few things, and it decided, okay, I've caught enough things, so I'm just going to deactivate the trapping part of the plant, and then it's still digesting its meal there. So I wouldn't cut it off at that stage.
Until it's completely
right.
Do pitcher plants have flowers?
So if it were a male, instead of having a little pad at the end of its little stigma there, it would actually have a little ball, and the ball would have pollen on it. So basically, if I have a male in here anyway, I could just take the male pollen and put it onto here, and we would then create a hybrid. But what's happened here is this is a cutting that I've taken off one of the other bigger plants here. So basically they do, as a stress reaction, once I cut them, they produce a little flower. So I wouldn't pollinate this plant because it would then
what water do you use for your carnivorous plants?
Absolutely have to use the cleanest kind of water that you can get, because the places that they come from, like I mentioned earlier, have no nutrient in the soil. That means they've got no nutrient in the soil, no salt, no fluoride, no chlorine, no chemicals of any kind.
Carnivorous plants need rainwater.
They need rainwater, but preferably even cleaner than that. So reverse osmosis filtered water. So water that you would buy in a supermarket, just cheap filtered water, would be good for them.
Okay.
So, but rainwater is perfectly acceptable. We use rainwater here for a lot. But usually rainwater we can't get in the summertime, and then we switch over to reverse osmosis water.
Do you have your own?
I've got a water treatment plant here. Yeah. We use a lot of water here. I've got 150,000 plants at the moment. So.
Need it, definitely.
How do you know that something's wrong with your plant?
Look, it really depends on which plants they are. So with the trumpet pitcher plants, unfortunately, by the time you notice there's a problem, the plant will start looking limp. It's dead already. There's nothing you can do about it. So unfortunately, you have to keep the plants in suitable conditions. Otherwise, those plants, by the time you notice there's something wrong with them, they will be dead. But it depends on what is wrong with them. So signs of very stretchy growth, when they don't form an actual pitcher, that would be the key feature. If your plant doesn't make a trap, then you know that it's struggling. So your plant needs to eat, it knows it needs to eat, and it wants to make a trap. So if it doesn't make a trap, it means you are doing something wrong. So generally that would be the first warning sign. That's with the tropical pitcher plants. They can stand a fair amount of abuse. They can dry out a little bit in between watering sometimes. And they might come back if I let them dry out a little bit too much. But these ones also, if they start to lose their pitchers, then I know that there's something wrong with them.
Thank you, Peter, for showing us around showing us the carnivorous plants and talking about it. It's so cool. Carnivorous plants can be cool.